Okay, so moving on to question number 7. Question 7 asks, what is a solvent? So, a solvent is a liquid that dissolves a solute to form a solution. So it's funny when you try to like find these definitions in a textbook, if you were to look up solvent, they would say something like it's a liquid that dissolves a solute to form a solution. But then if you look at the definition of solute, it's like it's the solid that dissolves in a solvent to form a solution. It's just weird. We just add an example in case you're still having troubles understanding what a solvent is. But basically, let's say we're adding salt to water. I'll draw out like a cup. Now let's make it light blue for this water. And then I'll just draw like salt particles. So in this case, the salt is our solute. And then, as you can guess, our water is the solvent. So there's also a lot of other examples of solvents, and when you start to do more like reactions, you'll notice that some solvents need to be non-polar, some solvents need to be water. So like some examples of solvents are, well, I'll just put water. You can have like methanol as a solvent, ethanol. So these are all polar solvents. You could have hexane, which is a non-polar solvent. Something called dichloromethane is another interesting solvent as well, also known as DCM. Why did I say ethyl? Ethanol. Yeah, so it all just depends on what reaction you're working with. And you also have to be careful because some of these solvents can be toxic to your skin. Like DCM, you need to wear gloves. And always read the MSDS. Yeah, so those are all just different examples of solvents, so it doesn't just involve water. You can have a lot of variety of different solvents as well, or even like a mixture of two of them, like 60% water and 40% methanol. So there's a lot of variation to it, really. So let's see what our junior tutor said. A solution comprises of two components, the solvent and the solute. The solvent is responsible for dissolving the solute to form a solution. In most cases, solvent is in a form of liquid, while the solute is in a form of small solid particles. A classic example of this is when you have your cup of coffee in the morning, you have the coffee powder, which is a solute, and then you pour water into it to have your cup of coffee. Yeah, pretty much. And the water is the solvent where it dissolves the coffee powder. Water is known to be the universal solvent because it can dissolve many types of solvent compared to other solvents. What? Yeah, sure. Yeah. I'd be careful saying that water is the universal solvent because it can't dissolve like some like non-polar materials. Is correct. I'll just kind of add like a footnote. Water is a common solvent, but it is not able to dissolve, let's say, non-polar solutes. In cases like this, a non-polar solvent, such as hexane, can be used. Let me just also add, since like dissolves like. Okay, solution is